Hi, and welcome to the VCSP how-to videos. My name is Bogdan Grecu, Senior Cloud Systems Engineer at Veeam, and in this video we'll discuss about the Cloud Connect tenant accounts. First of all, let's clarify the purpose of this solution and what it's designed to do. First, the tenant accounts access provides centralized deployment configuration and management of Veeam backup agents on customer computers, so agent rollout and policy control can be handled at scale, not machine by machine. Second, it supports management of Veeam backup and replication installations and their job, including remote environments. That means we can oversee backup and replication operations even when the infrastructure isn't on the same local area network. Third, and the most important, it enables customers to send backups and replication into cloud infrastructure using Veeam Cloud Connect, making the provider infrastructure the cloud target for offsite backups and/or disaster recovery replicas. And finally, it's important to keep in mind the account model straight. A VSPC company is not the same thing as a Cloud Connect tenant. VSPC company is a management and organizational entity used for service provider administration, monitoring, and licensing, whereas the Cloud Connect tenant represents the account that authenticates and consumes Cloud Connect resources like backup repository and replication resources. Regarding the creation process, so the service provider uses the Veeam Service Provider Console to define its accounts. The end customer authentication will use the username and password that the service provider will configure and the client will be able to change afterwards. The assigned resources will consist in cloud repositories for offsite backup or for hardware plan, which basically are compute and memory capabilities for VM replication. And as isolation, tenant tenant cannot see and access each other data because Cloud Connect uses multi-tenant architecture. When registering a tenant account in Veeam Backup and Replication, we have two main options, and the right choice depends on the tenant model you're working with. Choose native option to register Veeam Cloud Connect tenant account in the Veeam Backup and Replication. Tenants using a native account can create backups to a cloud repository and create VM replicas on a cloud host that is assigned to them through a hardware plan. Choose Cloud Director type to register a VMware Cloud Director tenant account in Veeam Backup and Replication. Tenants using a Cloud Director account can also create backups to a cloud directory and create VM replicas on a cloud host, but in this case, the resources are provided through a organization in a VMware Cloud Director. So in summary, both options support cloud backups and replication. What changes is how the tenant receives and consumes resources via hardware plan or via organizational VDC or Cloud Director. Let's jump in the lab and see how the tenant management looks like. So here we have the service provider console. This is the now let's jump to the lab and see how the Cloud Connect management looks like. So here we have the service provider console version 9.1. For the tenant management, so you should go to configuration, top right corner, then in the plugins catalog, and let's choose Veeam Cloud Connect. In this particular plugin, we have the possibility to add multiple Cloud Connect servers for customers who has. Let's jump into the lab and see how the Cloud Connect tenant management looks like. Here we have the service provider console version 9.1. For the tenant management, we should go in the configuration, top right corner, then in the plugins catalog, and we should choose Veeam Cloud Connect. In this particular plugin, we have the possibility to add one or multiple Cloud Connect servers, depending on the infrastructure of the service provider. For service provider with multiple sites, we are able to add multiple Cloud Connect servers. So in the Servers tab, I already added one Cloud Connect server. And for the tenants, we have this particular view where we can create our test tenant. So we have two choices based on what exactly you want to offer to the customers. Let's stick with the native one. So let's give it a name, a very simple password, easy to remember in my case. And also we have the possibility to set expiration date for this account based on your contract you have with the end customer. In the next step, we have the possibility to allocate the resources for this particular tenant. So based on the infrastructure that is already added in the Veeam Cloud Connect servers, we have the possibility to add backup resources like backup repositories. So for example, I'll just pick one. This particular repository for this tenant, I will allow 100 gigabytes of storage space, and also have the granularity to specify the number of workloads that this storage will allow to host. So for example, how many VMs, workstation, or servers for physical workloads. Speaking about replication resources, we're able to add hardware plans, so some virtual hosts in service provider environment like ESXi hosts or Hyper-V hosts. So same based on the Cloud Connect hardware plans that are pre-configured, we're able to allocate this in the configuration of the tenants. So for my demo, I added both backup repositories and hardware plans for replicas, so we're good to go. These options, this option, this last option toggles on the possibility of the tenant to use the Veeam appliance to route communication during partial or full site failover. In the next page, we have some parameters regarding the throttling capabilities. We can, for example, define how many tasks a tenant is able to use during the backup sessions. Keep in mind that one task represents one disk that transfers to the Cloud Connect repositories. So tenants with one task defined will not be able to leverage parallel processing or run multiple jobs concurrently. Also have the possibility to limit the bandwidth that are able to consume when using the traffic towards the service provider infrastructure. And we can also define what are the gateway pools that a service provider will allow to the specific tenant. The last option, data transfer out, is a soft quota and puts no physical restriction on the cloud repository. When the cloud tenant reaches the specified quota, Veeam Service Provider Console triggers a company data download quota alarm. You can customize this alarm in accordance with your requirements in the alarm settings. Last step, we have a summary with all the configuration. Let's click Finish. And as you can see, the tenant being created. So our demo tenant has been created. As you can see, it's not mapped. So we have the possibility to map to one VSPC company. Starting version 9 of the console, we have the possibility to map multiple tenants to a single company. So we have many-to-one scenario for customers with multiple branch offices with multiple VBR servers. So we are able to create multiple tenants and map to a single company for ease of management, licensing, monitoring, and so on. I hope this video has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. See you next time.